Yeah, let's look at Bitcoin on June 19th. This is 12-hour scale, intraday scale. Let's look at what it is doing first at 12 hours. Mm, so last week we saw that how it bounced from the this retest level near 30K and then went all the way on S4, which is amazing actually. So last week we were somewhere here. On 12th we were here, and we got um, this level, S4 level, which was so much important because many times you see a first bounce, then a retest, and then this kind of pattern, and then you know what, then the bearish pattern develops like this, and then a kind of pennant, symmetrical triangle sometimes, and it's a little tricky, but usually my point is usually the bounce fades away like it getting, and then but this one changed everything, as far as this setup is concerned. And so basically the way I see here is from the bottom all the way to the top. When I say top, what I'm considering is this rectangle, and to simply put, right, so we should think from a rectangle point of view, that avoid these spikes, wicks. We should see this as boundary. As four is the boundary, upper boundary, and as far this lower is the, I mean the May 19th low as the bottom, lower boundary, and whole entire area where we are seeing um, consolidation. This was a major retest. This was immediate retest. This was a second retest, and then went all the way. So this bounce I was talking about is not just small bounce like up to this one. This it retraced halfway. So the way I put is from here to here, and then retraced halfway, consolidated, and made a move all the way to the top, which is a this is a big win. So the first big win is bouncing from here and not getting, not breaking down. This was the biggest win and the hardest part. Then from here all the way to here without stopping, without losing the momentum, in on a weekly scale, of course, is a was a big deal. We'll look into the weekly scale, which will clarify further. So this is the most important move, I would say, because it touched the upper boundary. So this so touching this S4 level was the second most important thing. I know it didn't break above, but it usually doesn't break above in one go. What I was expecting that it would bounce from here, because this is a retracement level where usually it could bounce from here on. There are a lot of this was a strong support, and the best case scenario was to get bounced from here and go on the upside. The yesterday's move was, of course, we had to watch closely, and it touched the yellow, level. Now this time I kept this yellow level little higher. So this was a support and it reacted near the support, as you could see, but I kept it purposefully here, not somewhere here or not somewhere here, because see, there are multiple resistance even here as well. As long as this is a pattern where there are multiple resistances. For example, you can draw a line, like simple line like this, and this is in fact I already added S4.3 like this, which actually provide point bounce from here, bounce from here, here, and so on. And this is a rejection, so still this is, so that's why it reacted from here and so on. Then you can shift this one and say, you know what, this is also a good level. I mean, It's not just one line, but sometimes it could be like a small strip like this, a zone. Why? Because it would then cover this bounce, all this bounce that you see. It would cover this one, and now this one. So this is another range. So what I'm trying to say here is, in this region, the big picture as far as this consolidation is concerned, this is a big picture where you have upper boundary and a lower boundary. Now it has been dancing within this region, and what we are trying to figure out is when it will go off balance, because that's the most important thing. Here it could have gone it could have gone down from here. That's why I'm saying this is the most important level from when we saw bounce, right? And it's about balance. And I would say this level, yellow level, is kind of a median level or mid level. If you look at it from from the structure point of view, this is a mid level, and the price is above the mid level. So this is another perspective from geometry point of view. Earlier explanation was more from a candle point of view, and also my own resistance and support level calculation point of view. All this S level are based on my calculation. Those are not by candle, just to clarify. So there are multiple methods you can think of, and ultimately you will say, okay, which one is weighing more, right? I mean, which, see, because here it's all about applying different methodologies, and then decide overall how the model looks like. So when you build a model, you use multiple indicators, whether your own indicator, your industry standard indicator, or industry standard practices like candle analysis or trend line analysis or any other pattern specific analysis. You put together and say, okay, um, of course there are so many, so you have to select what all methods you are going to choose, and then include that into model, and then you can say overall what is the direction, right? Which one, like, aggregated, I mean, putting together, which one indicating upside or downside, right? So from a geometry point of view, this is a mid level, and that is also telling that we are now upper side of the mid level, which is good thing. So you see, there are multiple ways, from my own analysis point of view, my technique point of view, candle point of view, or a rectangle, this zone point of view, geometry point of view. We are, of course, we cannot say everything is good. However, we can say that this is not a time to worry. This is this was little scary, of course, but it bounced from the level where it is supposed to bounce. I would say not supposed to bounce, but I would say it bounced without changing the balance. Otherwise it would have changed the balance. So the bounce was timely. The bounce was at the from the good level, the required level, mid level. So that's my take. Now, of course, this is not done deal. It has to go higher, and I think even if it breaks above S4.1, reaches 39K, we should be out of this mess. Then the probability of going back or heading, down is low. Um, then the breaking above S4 is easier, right? So if you ask me what is the minimum level which is required for it to get out of this, I would say 39K, which is just about as S4.1. And of course, so the way you may, I mean, if I had to project, then I would say it would react here, right? Little bit retracement. Again, it will not just ignore, and then look for maybe 42K, yeah, this one, and then look for this level, and then it will react. It This important level, green level, is important. 47, 48K zone is important, and we would like then to have a breakout on the upside like this. So this is the path the bullish case where the path we are expecting, where this was a downfall, and just to put big picture in perspective, you can say this is the very simple, like, and then this, and then this. Yeah, it's like that. But we are now trying to depict more, I mean, lower level details where it would react and all, which is but natural. Anyway, so this is a bullish scenario. Bearish scenario we can talk about quickly. I think we don't have to pay a lot of time unless it breaks below our level, but we should not ignore what might happen if the supports are broken. Now, as you could see, it doesn't fall free fall. It doesn't just ignore everything and just deep dive. It is going to always going to react, like here it is reacting to support on the sorry resistance on the upside. Same thing is it would, if it has to, now we're talking about bearish scenario. So if it fails to break above this S4.2 where it is stuck right now, if you look at it, it's consolidating here. So let's say if it doesn't, it cannot break above, it fails to break above, then it will land here S4.3, which I added yesterday as an interim. All these are interim resistance and support levels. These are support levels, interim. It doesn't matter much in a bigger picture, but on a low time scale it matters. So this could be the next one, and then of course if this is broken below, I mean, there is one more here, but the point is then there's no then the probability of breaking down will be much higher. It already had this good bounce, and this was also good bounce which brought up the price all the way to 42k, 41, 42k. And if this has to come down all the way, then probability of making lower low gets higher. That's how. So, and but even in this journey it's going to react near this one, in this one, and then go down, right? And what is the worst case scenario? Worst case scenario is 20k, but it has to go through a lot of support levels in between. But as I said, we don't have to think about this level at this moment, but I just wanted to briefly touch base the bearish scenario. But right now we are sticking to this green path where we are expecting a bounce to continue, where it will react to different support levels and continue moving up, creating this kind of a bowl structure or a necklace pattern, I called. And yesterday the call, I shown this on a 1 day scale. We had a similar pattern in November 2019, and so I'll briefly show it to you, which is this. It's not hard to spot actually. This one. Um, Let me highlight it. So I'll just draw a box, similar box. Now, this was a drop like May 19th. If you compare this with May 19th, then this was immediate drop. In this case, it was lower than the main one. So little variation, but similar behavior, that it went up and then went down and then went up. So this is comparing to 41, 42k level we have, and then come down and then another rise, which is like in this case shorter than this one. In our case it went all the way here, but and this, in this case, but we don't have to go into that many detail. So important thing is the structure. Went down, up, then another down, and then up, then another retest, and then up, touching near the upper level, and then another level. And if you look at it, even in this case, it was like near mid level. If I draw like this, little lower than mid level. In this case the mid level is little higher, but if you look at it in this rectangle, there are a lot of support level, I mean bounces from this level, right? In this case it bridged up a little bit, but essentially it gives you the idea that This is similarly, if this is, I'm saying necklace because this is kind of a thread, this is like a pendant, and this is another, so it's like a necklace pattern. There's no pattern, necklace pattern. I just made up because I visualize that way. um, so and then you break out, and another thing, minor point, it broke above and it came down again and retested this breakout level, this upper boundary. It went up and then retested and then went up and so on. So this is past. I'm not saying the past repeats, but the pattern is similar. That's why. And sometimes this is also similar actually. In only thing is here, if we are here, it little, it skewed one, this is not exactly, but this is also similar behavior. The first big drop, up, drop, multiple retest, right, multiple attacks on this level. And here we thought it will go up, no, but it broke down, and then all of a sudden it didn't go all the way here. So sometimes you think that, this is going to really go deep because this is a major structure. And here you would think that, what, this is the base, and then the base was broken, and you got this. And then you think, oh, this base was broken, and then you are going to have a big one, and then it stops. So sometimes this is a tricky thing. And then gave a big one. Ultimately what happened is not important, but the point is, it went down eventually, but not from here, and so on. So the patterns are tricky sometimes, but anyways, I just wanted to quickly show you how it resembles. So if you look at this one, coming back to this one, similar, a big drop up, and then another quick drop, went up, and this is a retest, went up all the way to the upper level, and this is a mid level. Very similar structure. Now you, and then if you just put this one together, right, and then you would be able to compare it. That is, oh yeah, it is similar structure. We'll see what happens next is not important. What we want, the first priority is what we wanted to get out of this mess, and progress in this direction, in this path, right? We want to see this price action following this path, from a mainly from direction point of view, not from each and every turn point of view, but definitely they are going, this is going to react on the upside like the way it reacted. Okay, so this is my take on Bitcoin, and I briefly touched base the bearish scenario, but I'm not putting a lot of weight here because it's not happening now. If the scenario changes, we'll have a call and understand what it is trying to do. At this moment, it's just a scenario, not a probability. We are focusing more on the upside because we are getting a bounce at this moment. And a bounce is not we didn't get this bounce from a random place. It was very predetermined, pre-calculated level, right? And this level, I said this is as I said, a little higher. I was a little more conservative because sometimes, if it fails and then doesn't recover, then people should not think that we waited a long. So I just wanted to raise a flag earlier because, and remember, we had raised a flag here. First was here, then we reset because it bounced, and then another flag was set here. But then many members were not able to take any action. So the action is not necessarily exit and all. It's very personal decision. But the point is, if alert is ignored, then they had to face consequence when the something like this happens. um, right. So point is, alerts are for preparation, as I say. And if somebody doesn't prepare and ignore, then of course it's a choice they make, right? So the alerts are important, and everybody has to plan as per their financial goals and risk appetite. So this time I I raised this level here, I could have put it here as well and waited to see if, if it really comes down. But I thought maybe this is the right level because it already went down here. So I'm just trying to explain the rationale behind why my yellow level, this risk level, is here, not somewhere here. So you get enough time to prepare in case it starts going down. So that was my idea, because if I'm here and if it really goes down and crash below, you might not have enough time. So that's the rationale behind having this level a little higher than probably I should have kept somewhere here. Okay, so I think this is at a lower scale. 12 hours we saw, one day we saw. Let's look at a weekly scale. I'll hide the drawings for clarity because here on a weekly scale drawings are not important. Okay, so this is a big picture, and in a big picture many people are comparing head and shoulder. I'm not. To me this is not head and shoulder that I would consider. And also uh, it's my preference that usually I consider a pattern which is on the trend. So let me explain what I mean. For me, this is a main trend. This is the trend started from March. This is a main trend, and within that main trend, there are patterns, right? And what I matter, the patterns on the trend matters. So let's understand the wave structure, the way I define. See, there is no definition. Everybody thinks differently, and there is no standard definition. The way I'll explain the way I see things, the way I split the the wave and count my wave. It's not Elliott wave or something like that. It's simple technique that this is my main wave, okay, and this is, to me, this is a counter. So this is a main trend. This is a main trend which is upside, moving upside, right? Uptrend. And what you see here is a counter trend. Okay, sometimes the counter trends are short lived. For example, if you look at these are retracement is counter trend. Just to these are all different terminology. A retracement means it briefly comes down. It comes down briefly. So this is like going up, but there's a little delay, pause, sideways move, right? That's this kind of along the way, along the uptrend. Here the bigger one compared to this is a bigger one, like 15%. This is like 20%. This is 20-25%, and so on. What and this is the peak. This is the top of this trend, but the top is not the ultimate top. This is top for now. It's not the end of the bull run, end of the uptrend. So this is the major 50-54% drop. But again, this is a counter trend. So what you see here is 15%, 20%, 25%, this kind of drops. This is a smaller one. These are all counter trends. The degree of counter trend is smaller, okay, but all these were on the wave, and this is also on the wave. So in a bigger picture, so here one, from starting from here all the way to here, so this is a counter trend. So this is how I'm seeing. I don't want to give numbers and all. These are minor one on the way. This is a major one on the way. So coming back to head and shoulder thing, why? So this basic is required to set the context here. That when the pattern is built on a wave, that to me, this pattern, I would focus more on this counter trend. What is the pattern being built on the counter trend, not along with the previous one like this one. And to me also, this is very deformed. Actually, head and shoulder, this is not obvious one. Even if I consider this is not obvious, this candle has actually ruined this pattern in my point of view. So even you it may look like head and shoulder, but to me it's a deformed one, it's a skewed. I'm not, even from the shape point of view, I'm not considering too much of it. But mainly, as I said, I am focusing what is happening here rather than putting this one in context. So right now this is the main trend, and this is a counter trend. So my focus is what is happening on a counter trend, not to put this one and to this one together. You may, but my weightage is more on this, what is happening on this side, along. So with respect to this wave, with respect to this wave and this pattern, so my focus is, my weightage is more here than comparing this and this. So that's my take. It's all about a priority and what you choose to do. Again, so that's my take on head and shoulder, because that is being discussed a lot, right? So that's my take. Now, because there is no end. For example, um, you are combining this one with this one. You may say this one you can combine with this wave or this wave. Then where is the end? Where is the end? There's no end. And